I'll actually show you my notebook. It says coworkers I want to punch in the face. This is my football notebook. So I'm just ready to go.
I thought you were going to open it and it was just going to say Ace too.
Ace, no. Next.
What is up, football fans, but most importantly, UFL fans? Welcome to Polar Opposites, episode 8 or 7. It's one of the 8, Webb.
Yeah, I think it's 8.
It's 8. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to episode 8 of Polar Opposites. We got a good one. It is game week, so we actually have games to discuss. I am very, very excited. We are back with mostly the original crew. It's me and Webb again. Our wonderful host, KB, is in the background, but Kenny is still out. He's taking a little bit of leave, so I'm still running producer while we're doing this. But first, run the music, me. All right, well, we got a great episode today. We're going to roll through a bunch of different things. But first, I started it last week and I might keep it going because some of your answers made me laugh last week. Fan question. We ask a fun question and you guys answer in the comments. This week's question is a cool one. There's a lot of overlap between alt football and WWE, most likely because Vince McMahon started the first XFL and XFL 2.0. So there's a good overlap between those fan bases. So I have a fun question for you. Who do you think would win in a WWE-style Royal Rumble amongst the 8 starting quarterbacks in the league? And with the Panthers and the Stallions, you can just guess which one would be in it, since they haven't actually named a starter. Case Cookus is definitely the starter in Memphis, even though they haven't said it technically. But of the 8 starting quarterbacks, who wins in a WWE Royal Rumble style? Leave that in the comments. Let us know. Make us laugh. It's a fun time.
Who's your pick?
Wait. Okay.
Who's your pick?
Okay, my pick. Man, I might go with AJ McCarron just because I think, when you're fighting in front of your kids like that, like I think he'd be doing it in front of his sons. He's got his sons right there in the stands. I think it just means a little more. I want to say homer pick Jarrett Garantano because I think he's the most yoked of all of the starting quarterbacks, but he's really young. He doesn't have kids, so it's just. I think it means a little more when you have kids. What do you think, Webb?
Jordan Tiamo, man. I know that's a homer pick, but he just looks like a tribal war. He's got the tattoo, man. He's just ready to go, man.
Oh, he's got the.
It's game week, so I'm definitely turning on a little homerism here, but it's game week.
You got the DC flag, DC hat. I get it. He's basically just a younger Roman Reigns. He's got the tribal tattoo sleeve, pretty cool.
Which lines up into The Rock and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff.
Yes.
Tiamo would be a great pick. But
he's a great pick.
Before we start, I just want to say you guys did a great job last week in my absence. And Josh was a good show. Even though he's going to lose this week and go 0-1, but we'll get there.
I will say, talk about the records. I mostly had swept until the polls moved over to YouTube. And wow, YouTube really does lean XFL, I'll tell you. Case Cook has swept the preseason MVP between who's more likely, him and AJ McCarron. On Twitter, Case Cook has swept it. Then you go to YouTube, and with more votes, AJ McCarron took it by a lot. So I think I went 2-1 against Josh last week. But, still good. I'm still doing it. Oh, the champ is still here. Yeah. WWE champ's still here. Let's go.
All right.
But KB, what is our first official topic of the night?
We're going to talk about games, and with games come upsets. So let's talk about what you think is going to be the biggest upset of the weekend.
All right. So we have 4 games. Each game has a team that most people are leaning towards. So each game could technically be an upset. But you and I have to decide who is our most likely upset. And because I know you are a little less sure than I am, because I'm actually making this my pick of the week and we talk about it later, my pick for the most likely upset is going to be the San Antonio Brahmas overtaking the DC Defenders. And I have good reason for this. Number one, it is a home game for the Brahmas, and it's looking to be a very filled out game. The home field advantage is actually going to matter. Then, other than that, they have announced that Chase Garbers is going to be their starter for the Brahmas. That's a legitimate guy. like you said, you yourself are the one who was very high on Chase Garbers. All of us were saying Dormady. Even the Brahmas dudes that we have, Josh and Dustin, they were saying, we're hearing it's Dormady. You kept saying Garbers. And you were right. I think he has a lot of upside. I think teams were probably looking at Dormady more. So now he's, kind of snuck into the starting position. But the last thing is that Abram Smith is out for the season, and that is a humongous blow to your offensive play scheme. It really is. And I know you're going to say they're so comfortable with the running back room that they didn't even pick anybody up. They picked up Saquandre White and then they dropped him. Yeah. Yes, I did. They're so comfortable that they didn't even pick anybody up. They grabbed Saquandre White and then they dropped him because they said, you know what? We love what we have with Cameron. I don't remember his name. Cameron Harris. And you're like, they're so confident. I get that. But missing Abram Smith, he was the workhorse last year. Sometimes Jordan Ta'amu, we've seen it. USFL, back to the XFL, he can be a little inaccurate. He can have 3 and outs when he's not in a groove. So to have Abram Smith to fall back on, to be your workhorse, to be a battering ram up the middle, it hurts to not have him. And I don't think your wide receiver core is as good as it was last year. Now, your rebuttal, my man Webb.
You want my rebuttal now? You want to wait till right now? DC is good. That's the only game that's a blowout.
Whoa. So, okay. All right.
That's the only game, and I know we'll go to the breaking down game by game.
Yeah, I was going to say quickly. Save the rest of this. We'll leave it at blowout because that is a bold prediction. But let's move on to what you think is the most likely upset of the weekend.
All right. So you already know how I feel with DC and San Antonio. I don't think it's close. Birmingham, Arlington, I don't think it's close. Houston, Memphis, I don't think there is an upset. I think the point spread is actually matching that. It's a 1-point spread. So that's basically a pick 'em, right?
Yeah.
So if either team wins, I wouldn't be surprised. So it's got to be Michigan against St. Louis. It just has to be. Michigan's bringing out the new offense, right? Mm-hmm. With the stars wide receivers. And EJ Perry, well, they haven't announced their starter technically, but everyone assumes it's going to be EJ Perry. In that Philadelphia offense, might be able to surprise St. Louis. I think the interesting thing is, like, DC and San Antonio, they've seen each other, right? Like, these staffs have seen each other. Houston and Memphis, the staffs have seen each other. Michigan can surprise St. Louis in Detroit for week 1, and that's the only reason why. Do I think Michigan is a better team? No, we'll get to it, who we have in our championship at the end. But I do think Michigan is going to be tougher than a lot of people are predicting right now. So I think Michigan has a chance. I think their defense is solid, and I think they can surprise St. Louis early on, especially without Pearson, right? Like, they're missing their number 1 target or number 2 target, whatever, one of their targets.
Ja'Cory Pearson was easily number 1. I don't care. Yeah, well, they have Hakeem Butler. I get it. But Ja'Cory Pearson is so good.
Yeah, but Butler's more of like a security blanket with McCarron with the experience they've been together. But I just think Michigan's the only pick here. Do I love the pick? No. You'll see where I go when we actually go through our picks. But I think Michigan at a 6.5-point underdog is the only pick here because the rest of them I just don't see happening. Or they're not really an upset.
I like this pick. I like this pick for an upset because, like you said, the Michigan offense, gosh, we saw so many different versions of it last year, and then their offensive coordinator's gone. They have the Stars coordinator from last year, which, thank you, you pointed out, I got that wrong last episode when you weren't here. See, I need somebody to keep me in check. Yeah. Josh is just a little too nice, but I like that. And I do think, you were the Garbers train for the Brahmas when everybody was Dormady. I am the Etling train for the Panthers when everybody is EJ Perry. I think he's one of the most NFL ready quarterbacks in the league. He was like fighting for a starting position in Green Bay a year ago. So the fact that he comes in, I think Etling's going to start. I think their offense, for some reason, nobody wants to talk about Wes Hills and Matt Coburn. All the shows I'm watching, nobody will bring them up. That is possibly the best 1-2 punch running back room in the league. And then they have the Stars wide receivers that are running the same offense they were in last year. And the defense only got better. They have an Adonis Alexander, who you loved season 1 of the USFL when he was a breaker. I mean, it's a good team. I think they're legit. I think they only got better. I think people are absolutely just sleeping on them, and they will not give them the respect they deserve, especially the running back room. It makes zero sense to me. Like, yeah, I was a big Wes Hills crap talker last year, but he's good, dude. And with Matt Coburn, it's super good. But I digress. Oh, I like our upset picks. I think they're fun, but I do think that the Brahmas have a legitimate chance, and we'll get into that. All right, KB, what is number 2 on the docket? There you go.
Number 2 is let's talk about our championship picks.
All right. We'll get into championship picks. Webb, I went first, so you can go first. And we'll go back to equal here since you've been the big screen for a while now because I'm producing on the fly.
So my championship pick, and it's going to go against everything I picked against the upset in week 1, is St. Louis versus DC. I think they're going to match up. DC is going to get the number 1 seed, and they're going to play the 4 seed, which is ironically going to be the Michigan Panthers in my scenario, while St. Louis will play Birmingham. And St. Louis will take out Birmingham, and DC will take out Michigan, and they will meet in St. Louis for the championship in June. And I just think these are the best complete teams. I think they're settled at the quarterback. That's the biggest thing. Like when you think DC, you know who their number 1 is. Mm-hmm. Same thing with St. Louis. Birmingham, who obviously is one of the championship contenders. You don't know who number 1 is technically yet. And to be fair to the Stallions and all their fans, every year that they start with a quarterback, they end up winning a championship with another quarterback. So, like, you don't know where that scenario is going to go out. So I just feel these are the 2 most complete teams. I like St. Louis's offense. You've actually convinced me over these past 7 episodes that St. Louis actually probably is a force to be reckoned with. And DC, man, I know you talk about Abram, and we're gonna go to that game, but like, I'm not worried about that offense at all. And the defense is the best in the league. And I know you're going to say something to Houston, but the people voted on that topic. We argued that already.
Yeah, I got kind of smoke on that one.
Yeah, you got DC has the best defense. So, okay. What about your picks?
Okay, no, I like that pick. And yes, I agree that St. Louis is probably, or if not just hands down, the best offense going into week 1. Last year, they ended the season with one of the biggest blowouts we've seen. They scored nonstop. They showed that they were a force to be reckoned with. They brought back the important pieces for that and then added onto it, which is bonkers. So I love that pick. DC, I want to see the offense happen first. So that's why they didn't make it into my championship. I did not think as far as you did, where you're like, it's going to be these 2 teams playing each other, and then these 2 teams are going to meet in the championship. I'm not thinking that far ahead. I just straight up thought it's going to be St. Louis and the Birmingham Stallions. Because like you said, the Stallions always start the season and they say, hey, you know what? We're deciding on this quarterback, or we haven't fully decided a quarterback. I thought it was kind of funny for everybody who's been following the USFL for the past two and some years. This is the 3rd season in a row where going into week 1, Skip Holtz says, oh, the quarterback battle is just so close. I think you're going to see a 2 QB system. He said it every year. If you believe him, you just don't know Skip Holtz, man. He has a guy, and he's going to use that guy. But the cool thing is that he's never safe. So, yeah, season 1, they started with Magoo, benched him for Jamar. Then Jamar got hurt, brought in Magoo. Then they started the season 2 with Jamar. Then he got hurt, brought in Magoo. You know, they're always ready to move quarterbacks, but it never really is a 2 quarterback system. I think Matt Corral is probably the best talent at quarterback in this league. When you're talking about somebody who can come in, yeah, man, I know. I still think AJ McCarron, there's a lot of talent around him. He still is more of a game manager, in my opinion. Jordan Ta'amu, his legs make up for a lot of it, but he really is inaccurate a lot of the time. I think the other guys are unproven. Jarrett Garantano, we haven't seen it yet. He's raw and he could be something special, but right now he's still in the proving it period. I think Matt Corral, the fact when he joined the league, dude, what did you say? What did you say, Webb?
I said, holy crap, because, you know, I'm a New England Patriot fan, and the fact that he was in the New England Patriots locker room, or I guess he was on roster, right? I don't know what that situation is really going through with Belichick, but he was, you know, the Panthers quarterback of the future before an injury, really. Like they really thought, they really thought like he was this guy for even as a 3rd round pick. Super talented. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just think without seeing him take a snap in a few years, it's tough to say he's the best in the league. Might be the most talented, might have the highest ceiling. I'll give you that, but to say he's the most talented right now and he's the best quarterback, you're saying he's the best quarterback in the league?
I think right now he should be the best quarterback in the league. If he isn't, he's underperforming, honestly.
All right, so if we're doing a fantasy, well, not fantasy, but a real football draft, right? And we're creating teams. You have the first pick, and we're doing it like the USFL did, and it's all quarterbacks first round. You're taking Matt Corral,
unbiased, because I want to take Case Cookus because I love the dude. I would take Matt Corral,
Woo! All right, all right.
So I have the receipts. I keep them. Let me pull my phone up. It's not actually right here. I just remember when they signed Matt Corral, you said the Stallions are the best team in the league. That was your first message. You said, holy crap. That was your first message. You said, holy crap. And then sent a second message and you said, the Stallions are the best team in the league. And I think that's still true. That's why, there's movement. When you look at the sports books, when you look at all this stuff, there's a good amount of movement. The Battlehawks, I think, have moved up a spot. Like, there's been some movement. Stallions are always number one. And there's a reason for that. It's because they're the best. And they're going to make it to the championship. I don't want to say it. I don't want to see it. It's boring for me as not a Stallions fan to see the Stallions in the championship for the 3rd year in a row. But we're going to see it. And I think that the St. Louis Battlehawks, they're that good, dude. I think they are that full of a team. Their offense is ridiculous. Their defense was decent last year and only got better. They have the reigning XFL Defensive Player of the Year, who's an absolute monster. That's my championship right there. And I would put some money on it right now. Not a lot. I'm not a big bettor, but I put a little money on it. I believe it.
Wow, that's pretty strong conviction there about the Stallions.
It's a pretty strong drink.
I'm shocked that you went with the Stallions because if you go through our history of predictions,
I hate them.
Yeah, you are never not like you never say I'm going to take the Stallions. You kind of go against the grain just to go against the grain. Yeah. Because last year I don't even think you put them in the playoffs.
No, last year I think I said I would bet something like a year's salary or something that they wouldn't make it to the championship, and I'm glad that I didn't actually make that bet because they totally did. But
so you heard it here first. Listen to my predictions before you listen to Ace's. They tend to be true.
Mean, but okay.
Whatever. It's been a week off, man. I'm sorry.
All right. KB, what is our 3rd thing on the docket tonight? Topic.
Our 3rd topic is game previews.
All right. Mr. Webster, is it my turn to go first? Oh, no. We were just going together, I guess.
Yeah, we're going together.
Previews. Okay. Well, let's do this. I made a spicy new graphic for us. It has our picks for the games. So we have the 4 games. We have the Stallions at Renegades, Battlehawks at Panthers, Defenders at Brahmas, and Showboats at Roughnecks. We've kind of already hinted a lot at who we were going to pick, but let's just roll through each game right now and talk about who we think is going to win and why. So game number 1, Battle of the Champions. We have the Renegades versus the Stallions. Webb, we both have the Stallions. Why do you think they're going to win?
Well, I think the Renegades are the worst team in the league. Honestly, I told you they're 2-8.
Dang.
Stallions are a playoff team. I just told you that the Stallions are built different than the Renegades, and I know they are the champs, and I know they got Luis Perez, who is obviously a spring league legend, but I think they didn't upgrade as much as the other teams in the league upgraded. They kind of stood pat, and that's no disrespect. They won the championship, but they were a 4-6 champion. So let's be real. Like they were closer to the bottom Brahmas, who have the worst record coming into this league, than they were to the Stallions. So
that's wild to think about. That's wild to think about. They were one game away from matching the worst record. No,
like honestly, if San Antonio makes that field goal, San Antonio goes to the playoffs, and Arlington is left home, and maybe San Antonio is the champ, and we can never hear the end of the cow pasture, right?
Dude.
Like we're that close, but they are. I'm just saying they're closer to that level than they are to the Stallions, who are 2-time champs, or DC, who went 9-1, lost in the championship. or even the Gambler Next, right?
Yeah.
You guys were at least 5-5 and being competitive all year.
Beating the Stallions,
The Renegades looked bad at certain points last year, especially at the
really
beginning.
Bad.
Yeah, so like they just got hot at the right time, and that's not a Mickey Mouse championship like they said on Stallions run. That is no criticism to the Renegades. They deserve the ring.
They got on.
When you're starting off the new season, I don't put them up there. So
that's fair. I also think it's the Stallions. I don't think. The more I think about it, the more I don't think the Renegades are as bad as everybody says. I think they're pretty even with the bottom half of the league. And I'm honestly going to be rooting for them probably this weekend. You know, I'm the USFL homer, but they got Sal Canella. They got my guy DP over there. And I want to cheer him on. So
DP's not giving up a touchdown.
He's not giving up a touchdown.
That's what he said in July. So
he said it July 23rd. I just looked at the receipt. DP said that the Stallions may not even score a touchdown in the opening game against them. So, man, for his sake, I hope he's right, because Stallion fans are ruthless. I remember last year when they beat us.
That's when they had Magoo. He talked all that noise when they had Magoo, man.
Bro.
Like, Magoo was still not even on the Packers yet. So, like, to say they're not going to score a touchdown, ooh, that's strong, man. That's strong.
Stallions fans are ruthless. I remember last year when they beat the Gamblers the second game in the year. Yeah. Dude, I was on a plane the second half of that game. I landed and all hell broke loose on my phone. It was the worst day. It was awful. Yeah. Oh, I remember that's the first time I talked to Jay Sternberger, because I called him out for absolutely roasting me for that game. But that was a good time. But I think that, like I just said, I don't need to restate it that much. The Stallions are the best team in the league right now, so I think that they will win. I don't know if it'll be a blowout. For my sake, being at the game, I hope it's not a blowout. I hope it's a fun game.
The spread's 3. The spread's 3. I think it's more like a 7-point game.
The spread is 3? Dude, I might take this spread. If I could bet, which is funny because 3 of the teams are in Texas and you can't bet in Texas. If I could take the spread, dude, I would probably take the Stallions by 3, because I think they will win by more than 3. I mean, a blowout, you know, if they win by 7, that's not a blowout. But all right. Yeah. So we move on to game number 2. I'll start first. It's the Panthers at the Battlehawks. I think this will be a better game than many people are thinking. What's the spread? Did you look?
This is the biggest spread. It's 6.5.
6.5. I think the Panthers cover the spread. Yeah. I think the Panthers cover the spread. I don't think they win, but I think they cover it. I think they'll lose by 4, 3. The Panthers were always competitive last year, even against the Stallions, against everybody. Like, they are still a good team. Their defense will keep them in it. But I still think with this offense that St. Louis will overtake them and win this game. What do you think, Webb?
I think, just like I said, one of the underdog story of the week, really. I think Michigan can keep it close. I still pick the Battlehawks because I think they're the better team. But Michigan, the surprise factor, the week 1 surprise factor, I think is because honestly, when you look at all these games, like I said, the other 2 games on Sunday are XFL versus XFL, USFL versus USFL, kind of teams that are familiar. I know Birmingham and Arlington, but those Arlingtons kind of remain the same. They didn't bring in a lot of new talent. Yeah. So like you can see film on this. Michigan is brand new from the top down.
Yeah,
I know Mike Nolan comes back, but like they are brand new and with all that talent, and you know they got a bunch of maulers on there too. So I think they can keep it close. They're going to be tough defensively if they can generate enough offense. And guess what? They brought the stars, offense coordinator, and a lot of their talent, and like you said, Wes Hills. I don't know who the quarterback is. Perry, Etling, that's fine. We know Lewerke is probably 3rd because he was just brought on to replace Davis Cheek.
Because they dropped him and then they brought him back when QB3 said no.
Yeah. So I if it's both of them, I think that could be a problem for St. Louis because they are a little bit different and they both can make the throws. They're both NFL guys, really. So we'll see.
Yeah, so just to go back, Webb and I both agree on the first 2, but then we're going to move on to the last 2, and that's where we differ. So, moving on, we have your game, which I'm sure you're very excited for. What are your plans for the game? Where are you going to watch it?
It's Easter Sunday, so I'll be with the family, but I already told the family that I will have a notebook out because I'm going to be tracking formations and plays. Like, honestly, I'll probably watch the game 3 times before we film DC Defender Show, especially for the first one. So.
Oh man, I am going to have to study for this one. Okay. So then going into next week's polar opposites, I will have to study. I will have to watch all the games, which is not a problem. I love football.
It's fun.
That's awesome, dude.
Right.
Man, if anybody questions if we're football junkies and why we do this, it's because we literally just love watching football.
I'll actually show you my notebook. It says coworkers I want to punch in the face. This is my football notebook. So I'm just ready to go.
I thought you were going to open it and it was just going to say ace, too.
Ace, no. Next year, your name does get brought in here.
I thought it was just going to be coworkers I want to punch in the face. Ace. That's really what I thought it was going to say, dude.
I wish I did it, man. Shoot. But anyways, I keep track of all my stats and everything for the these kind of the content in there. So I'll be the notebook will be out and ready.
That's awesome.
Tracking a lot of stuff. So
okay, well, I'm gonna go first. I picked my upset of the week, my most likely upset, to be the Brahmas, and that's because I actually picked the Brahmas. I think this team is so much different than what they were last year. Everybody, it's something weird that everybody looks at the Brahmas and they say they were trash last year. They had the worst record of any of the teams that were merged. And it's like, okay, but they have a completely new staff. They have a bunch of players from the Roughnecks. They basically have become the Roughnecks, who were 7-3 and made the playoffs, and then got a better quarterback, some really good receivers. They brought back Jontre Kirkland from the Roughnecks. Like, this team is scary. I love the stat. Josh brought it up on one of his shows that they had the Brahmas and the Roughnecks last season. Basically, if you look at the stats as far as pass rushing and front seven stats go, they were the number 1 and number 2 defense. Now they're together. Now they're basically the same defense, kind of merged together. They're going to be scary. And I think coming out week 1, when offense, okay, I won't bring up Abram Smith again, but let's talk about the fact that offenses are not clicking on all cylinders coming into week 1, especially in spring football with a short camp. I think they're going to get after Ta'amu. I think they're really going to just show that it's going to be a very close game. I think they could win. And so I put them. They're my upset. What about you? Let's go.
All right. So you talk about how this defense was so great, right? With Houston and San Antonio, right?
It was really good.
Okay. Name the teams that they played twice. Name the teams that they played twice.
Ooh, man. The Renegades.
Orlando. Garbage. They were in the South.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Renegades.
San Antonio. Hold on. Houston played San Antonio twice, Orlando twice, and Vegas twice.
No. Vegas was a northern team.
Arlington. I'm sorry. Who was trash for most of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
That didn't help my case much, but yes.
But what I'm saying is, and then you say San Antonio, and Houston was all right. Houston was good for most part of the year, but they played 2 games against Orlando and Arlington too. So of course their numbers are going to look better. They played against some of the worst teams in the league. A 4-6 team made the playoffs, right? A 4-6 team. So their numbers are going to look great. That's fine. They didn't play Seattle. You said St. Louis had a great offense. Offensive player of the year and the leading rusher played for DC. They played them once. Okay, that's fine. Their numbers average pretty good. All right, I'll give it to you. Whatever.
Okay.
But it doesn't prove that their defense is solid. Like, it does not prove anything. And first of all, it's a new year. We know this, right? Their secondary is kind of weak. Like, let's be honest. I know if you watch Josh's show, he gives 10s to everything and 7s and 9s, and he's like, "We're the best team in the league." And it's like, hold on, man. You're taking over a 3-7 team, and you got the 7-3 team, and you're merging these 2 teams together in South Texas. Don't call it East Texas, right? We learned that lesson.
I did, which is wild because I live here, so that was crazy.
Yeah, that state's so big. Like,
I'm a Central boy, man. I'm West and Central. That's where I've spent my life.
So all I'm saying is San Antonio is not automatically like given this crown of the best defense.
Yeah.
because they merged these two teams. First of all, everyone in Peta, you just talked about Peta. He went to St. Louis, right? Yeah. Peta T. Trent Harris from those Roughnecks just is in DC now, right? Houston, you're the new Roughnecks. Great defense. You can't crown San Antonio.
I'm not crowning
what they did last year. No, but to say their defense is one of the better ones in the league just because of last year and now they're merged together, like, doesn't make sense to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Okay. And then their offense. Well, we'll go to their offense. Yes, it's supposed to be a high-powered offense.
The running gun.
Garbers is a super talent.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he's offensive like white PJ Walker. So
yeah,
that was a weird comparison. I was like, okay,
yeah. Thank you, AJ Smith, for that.
I was like, sure,
commentary. But all I'm saying is they haven't done, like, the offensive line. I know they brought in a couple guys from Houston or Alex Millette, and I know that Latimer is there, but the quarterback hasn't proven anything, and the quarterback isn't like overly impressive. It's not a Case Cookus. Like it's almost like your situation in Houston. You have to figure out what that quarterback's really doing before you can crown them. And to say that they're going to be the best defense in the league with that quarterback,
man, I didn't say
it's
that.
mind-boggling.
I don't think I said that. I don't know, but here you said
picked San Antonio. You picked San Antonio.
I picked San Antonio to win. I picked San Antonio to win.
Yeah, to beat the best defense in the league. You think Garbers with that offense, which plays for San Antonio, is going to beat the best defense in the league?
I think so. But I think
it's a 6-point game,
listen,
man.
You said, oh, they got to play the Renegades twice. They got to play the Brahmas twice. They got to play the Orlando Guardians twice. Okay. What was the DC Defenders record last year?
9-1.
Who was that one loss?
Orlando.
Oh, it's Orlando. So you're saying that the parity wasn't that crazy. It's not like they were playing literal garbage all season.
I'm saying so. Orlando had a great game that day. It was your boy, right? Your boy was
Dormy put it on. Him and Cody Latimer.
Who's the backup? But
exactly. What so they're even better than that. They're even better than Dormy.
They had one game. Obviously, they went 1-9, right?
Yeah.
They had one game that they were spectacular. That's fine. So that means Houston and San Antonio got the games that they didn't. They were not.
Dude. You're crazy.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that you can't say that it's ridiculous.
Let's go to the offense. Cameron Harris averaged 5 yards a carry his entire life. Like his entire life. He played at Miami for 4 years.
I don't even know
it didn't matter if he had 10. Yeah, because you don't pay attention to ACC football because you got those Big 12 blinders and you like watching 74 to 69 point games. Like I like actual football. Right? I like actual football. It's not arena football.
You're telling me more people wouldn't watch the UFL if it ended 73 to 69? That's what you're trying to tell me?
No, because arena.
That's what they're doing.
Arena football would have lasted all these years if
arena football is lasting, which is wild. All dozens of them are watching.
Well, and your Abram Smith is a Big 12 guy. Webb.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I'm saying he could be replaced. I'm saying that they have guys in the system. Obviously, they're confident. They didn't make a move, right? Like they brought in a guy, and they're like 2 days later, see you later. So
they said, "Thank you, Zaquandre."
Yeah, exactly. So I think they're confident, and Tiamu's second year in the offense.
All right, whatever. We're moving on to the next game. We're moving on. We're moving on.
Please do.
Here's my game. I'm gonna let you go first. Tell me why my team's gonna lose. Hurt me.
To tell you the truth, I wouldn't be. This is the one game that I would not be shocked. This is the closest game.
Yeah, this is the closest game.
I think Houston has a lot of guys coming back, right? Yes. Not really, actually.
In the offense.
Yeah, in the offense. While Memphis is kind of more on the defense coming back, so that should be a good matchup. While you guys have all the talent on the defense, you have a super front seven. Like, I would say the second best front seven in the league.
Go on.
Your front four is probably the second best. Like, I'm just being honest, man. Like, if we're just talking four, if we're talking all 12 that you got, for some reason you kept, how many did you guys end up keeping, by the way? I didn't even keep track.
That's a great question. I'm not totally sure.
I figure every single episode you're projecting the lineup, so I figure you knew those numbers right off the top.
I made a mistake. I should have started projecting before like they even cut down to 58. That was dumb. But yeah. But CJ watches. So yes. We know that what I said this week wasn't right. So we're getting close. He told me. CJ said, "You were wrong." And I said, "Thank you, sir. Thanks for watching. Got your view."
But I think this game is close in the fourth quarter. I think it's the best game out of the whole weekend, honestly. I think Case Cookis figures out a way, and that's where I chose Memphis because I trust their quarterback. And Mark Thompson's injury is looming over the entire thing. If Mark Thompson's healthy, I might have picked Houston, but it's that close of a game. So,
man, tell me about it. It's looming over my head, dude. When I heard that he got hurt, I was super upset. I kind of knew before they, like CJ officially told us. Mark was dancing around it a lot, but I was like, oh, dude. I was like, he's so hurt. I'm glad. I thought it was an ACL tear, so I'm glad that it's not that. I was like, we lost both big name running backs, like the two biggest names. But I do think that it's going to be the best game of the weekend. I'm very excited for that. You know, I got my new shirt. I'm excited to go out there. I already saw Rice Stadium a few weeks ago, and it's gorgeous. So I'm really excited for the game. I think it's going to be good, and I think that we're going to win. And I think it's because defense wins games early. In the early season, you know, the Gamblers, they won the first game, season 1. They had no right to win that game. Our offense was awful. It was garbage, but we won because your defense can win it for you in the first 3 weeks. So I think that they're going to put us over where, you know, the Showboats had a great defense last year. They brought back a lot of the same pieces. They lost Troy Warner, who was their leading tackler, so that's a big hit, but they're still a good defense. But I think that our defense, which was good last year, got a lot better. My gosh, we do have the best front seven. Nobody wants to respect JT Tyler, Gabriel Sewell, and Reuben Foster. They are legitimately a good linebacker core. I love our linebacker core. Our defensive line, ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Keontae Shad, Olive Sagapolu, Toby Johnson, Chris Odom, Adam Rodriguez, Ronheen Bingham. Like, wow, dude. Wow. That's basically a USFL, what do you call it? Pro Bowl team. Like, if you were to put together a USFL Pro Bowl defensive line, it's what the Houston Roughnecks have right now. And I'm so excited to watch it. Both Ron Heen and Adam Rodriguez told me they're going for that. They feel in their bones, they're manifesting it. They're each going to get 3 sacks. I'm very excited to see it. I think that our offense, people don't know about Jarrett Garantano. That goes to our strength. They don't know a lot about him. There's not a lot of tape about him. I would know. I've been trying to find it. And I think that he's going to be able to do it with his legs, which in the first few games, defense and a mobile quarterback can win you the game. And that's why I think we get the upper hand. Because last year, the Stars, they opened week 1 against the Showboats. They didn't look very good. Case Cookis really didn't look that good until later in the game. But what was happening is that the Stars, Adam Rodriguez, getting at Brady White, and he just was not hitting things because he's not that mobile. So they had to bring in Cole Kelly. So I think the fact that they have Case, he's not the most mobile. We have very fast and very good defensive linemen and a great front seven. I think we're going to get after them, and nobody respects our secondary. They're literally, I think our starting secondary, besides the 2 safeties, all the corners, they didn't even start camp with us, but they are all NFL guys. I think we're going to surprise people.
Interesting.
And I rest my case. Javel.
Yeah. No, you make a pretty good case there, but I feel Flip, his offense fits Cookis. I think Cookis is an upgrade over MBT, honestly, personally. And I think Vito is an upgrade over Wes Hills a little bit. They and Sage Surratt and Jonathan Adams, and I just think they'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah. No, I
just don't trust your quarterback with Thompson. I probably would pick you guys if I knew what your quarterback is. Just like you said, there's no tape on him. And then Mark Thompson. So I probably would pick you week 1, but
I will say with Jarrett Garantano, it was pretty scary because when we first signed him, if you Google his name, the first video that comes up is called Trash Can Highlights. And it's a low light video of him from Tennessee. And it was a really bad game, but he was a young quarterback and that was early in his career. He actually played with Quentin Dormady. They were the ones fighting for the starting position, the two of them. And if you look into it, I don't think they got along very well. But he went on to Wazoo. And once I actually looked at that tape and got into it, because I don't like watching the grainy, old, crappy tape, but I went and watched the Wazoo tape. And he actually does move through progressions. He has a great arm. He can get it there basically wherever it is on a rope. So I like his upside. He's either going to be really good or below average. Like I don't think he's going to come in and just be an average quarterback. I think he's going to be one of two, genuinely. Which is scary, but screw it. You know, I've survived a season of Clayton and a season of Kenji. So here we are. But, but KB, we have one last thing to talk about, and that is your Blindside. Cue video. All right. What's up, KB?
All right. Well, again, contribution from the captain.
So good.
For the blind side. Yeah, he is so good at this. So one of the major points of comparison or conversation, at least on social media, between the USFL and the XFL was TV viewership numbers. So the question posed is, now that the leagues are combined, and I quote, what do you speculate the TV viewership numbers will look like in a combined league?
That's a really good question. That's a really good question. You know, I think he got this question from a Sports Illustrated article. Because, oh man, what's his name? What's his name with SI?
Mike Mitchell.
Mike Mitchell dropped an article today that was predicting the viewership numbers for the UFL. I saw it scrolling at work, and I was actually working today, so I didn't get to stop and read the article. But that's probably what made him think of it. So I didn't actually read that. I have no bias. I have no thoughts. What do you think? Do you think? I think the first game breaks 1 million.
Yeah, that's the top game of the whole weekend.
Agreed. Yeah.
And I think it's by far St. Louis following, and St. Louis, Michigan is, I believe, right after, right?
Yeah.
On the same channel.
Yeah. It's literally, it's like back to back. Like we're leaving that game and we're immediately driving to a restaurant or something to go find somewhere to watch it because it's right there. So my whole thing is, if that game is good, Birmingham and Arlington, that could lead into St. Louis and Michigan getting viewership. They are going against the NCAA March Madness. Which right now it's all big schools. So like there's a following, and there's no Cinderella story because no one watches Cinderella story after the first weekend, to be honest. These are all Dukes. Yeah. And when they do, it's like, it's a 40-point game and no one cares. Yeah. So I think if Birmingham Arlington is a good game all the way into the fourth quarter, I think you get to St. Louis and Michigan. And then on Sunday's a crapshoot. I'm going to be honest with you. Like DC, San Antonio, it could be great or it could be absolutely terrible. Yeah.
Because it's at noon on Easter Sunday, like on Eastern time.
It's tough.
Like I think people are still getting out of church.
I think the Easter factor plays into this like a good bit.
I think they did it on purpose though, because people are going to be home with their TVs on. I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying noon is still like early.
It's a tough time. There's egg hunts happening.
You're at the Central. Yeah, but you're at Central time. If people go to church on Easter Sunday, like
if you go to 11 o'clock church, you're not making the beginning of the game for sure.
Yeah,
and it's the most church going holiday of the whole year, basically, maybe outside of Christmas. And then Houston, Memphis. I don't even like. I'm gonna find it because I love this, and I obviously want to watch those two teams. But I can't tell you what channel it's on right now. Like if you ask me right now, I can't. That could be the Blindside. Webb gives the channels for each of them.
I think the Sunday games, because it basically was like USFL channels Saturday, XFL channels Sunday. I think it's ESPN for the Sunday game, which is smart. So here's my thought. So yes, game one, by far best viewership. I think it breaks, let's say 1.2 mil on the first game. I think if it's a good game, we can hang at 1,950,000 for the second game, right? I think Sunday, it's good that it's on ESPN, because when people turn on their TV and they just go to a random channel, you know, like random frat dude, what channel is he just leave his TV on? ESPN. When you go to Sports Clips, what TV do they have their TV on all day? ESPN. So that's a smarter channel to have it on the day that, you know, those are not the games that you're expecting the most viewership. That's a way to get more viewership, is that you have it on that good channel, ESPN, and it's at the times that are during Easter. So it's fine. I think you're right. I think the lowest game. Wait, the DC Brahmas, that's noon, right? On Sunday.
Yeah.
So I think that might be the lowest game, honestly. And then I think, and yeah, that church factor really does factor into it. Trust me, especially down here in the Bible Belt, me and you know, Sundays, man, that's the time to do stuff. That's when we go do leg day at the gym, because you can actually get a squat rack. But yeah, no, I think that's going to be the worst game of viewership. Let's go 680,000. I think that's reasonable. Okay. It's opening weekend, so it'll still be good. And then I think the Showboats Roughnecks, 800,000. We're going to be up in at or above 800,000, at or below. Yeah, give or take.
I think
Let's go get it.
I think you're good on Saturday. I think Sunday, I think you're too high, honestly.
Think I'm too high?
Yeah, because ESPN and also the holiday, and like,
that's tough.
It's tough. It's like that 12 o'clock game. Like, it's going to be me, you, and Brahma. Well, Brahma will be there, but the bullpen will be there. But like,
I'll be in Houston.
You watching the game. Yeah, you'll be in Houston.
I'll be in Houston. I'll be watching it.
It'll be people like you and I and KB watching the game.
I'm going to pull it up on my phone. Just give an extra viewer. Just while I'm at the game. Pull it up.
I don't even know if that counts anymore.
I don't know.
That's another thing. Like with streaming and everything, I don't know what the numbers really mean. I just think that's the fourth most popular game of the weekend.
Dang, that sucks. Well,
so no one will be able to see the only beatdown, and it's going to be a beatdown. It's going to be a 20-point win. You didn't. I didn't even get 32-12.
And it's still 32-12.
It still hits the under. It still hits the under.
That's crazy. It still hits the under. What is the under? 48? 48.5?
44.5. But that was my.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but
that's crazy.
It's here though. It's football season. I'm excited,
dude. It's week one.
Should be fun.
It's week one, man. I'm hyped up.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely jacked up.
Pumped for week one.
And I'm so excited. It's a boys' trip. Me, my brother, my dad. Maverick. He covers the Panthers loosely for us.
Very.
And then my dad, the Le Monster. He was on an episode way back. Yeah, I'm very excited. We're going to both games. We're going to Arlington and Birmingham, and then we're going to Houston against Memphis. So I'm very excited. I might even tweet out where we go watch the Panthers game after the game on Saturday. See if anybody wants to roll up and say hi, because I'm trying to get United Football Media to all go there to watch the game together, because it's going to be me, Scout, Buck, Josh, Dustin, and then my brother, my dad, and me. So it's like half of United Football Media is going to be there. So it's pretty cool. We'll see if Scout doesn't annoy me too much. Yeah. I feel like he's just much easier in person. It's just when you put a keyboard in front of the boy, man, it's crazy. It's so fast. So fast. But man, I think this was a great episode, Webb. It was awesome having you back, man. KB, great blindside. Captain, he's the trick. You got to just ask the captain, and Brandon gets you the best kind of blindsides. But you ask him the best, KB. And just have a good time. Thank you guys for being my friend. All right. So this has been Polar Opposites. I'm Ace. That's Webb. You can hear KB. We'll see y'all next time. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching the UFM United Football Media. If you like that, please make sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you want more videos, you can check them out on our channel over here. The best one for you is right here. And then if you like mine, the rest of my playlist is right here. Thank you guys, and I hope to see you next time.